Malachi Kelly, who is no stranger to flash fiction Armagh, and as Biddy was saying, he wrote a play, a stage play, Impact. And he also was branching out on his own and produced a play entitled Six Angry Women, along with the Armagh Theatre Group. So where did you get the Angry Women?
Very easy.
Was it? It wasn't hard then? Because if you need a seventh, I might be able to help you out. So Malachi is reading a story entitled Return Journey, which was developed from an original story told to him by John Cross from the Navan area in Armagh, or the Navan. It's the Navan, Armagh. And here's the glossary. So listen up. 3 words, as Gaelic. The first is mammo. Could you all say mammo? Mammo. Very good. Excellent pronunciation there. That means grandmama. Mammo. The second word is banity. Could you all say banity? Banity. Together. Banity. Which means anybody class? Anybody?
Housewife.
Excellent. Housewife or landlady sometimes. Housewife's good for me. And the last word in this glossary is Ihawaii. Could you all say Ihawaii?
Ihawaii.
And you all know what that means, don't you? Good night. Ihawaii. There's your 3 words. Mammo, grandmother, banity, landlady or housewife, and Ihawaii, good night. Malachi Kelly reading Return Journey.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Billy. Good evening, everybody. Return journey. His return journey began after the funeral, amidst a day of torrential rain. Standing over the graveside, he had helped lower the plain wooden casket of his matriarchal grandmother, the last link to his estranged County Clare roots. A grandmother who had disapproved of his northern father and shunned his mother ever since. Afterwards, hands were shook, neighbours thanked, and excuses offered for not attending the meagre reception they had arranged. And I'll have to go. It's the old chore. A long drive back north. Sorry. These shunned invitations would be the conversation back in the local parish hall. Could he not have come back for one cup of tea? Cowl northerners. What do you expect? Sure, no one showed the time of the fire. That broke the mammo's heart. Do you think he knows what happened that night? The rain hadn't eased as the blackest of nights encapsulated the grey stone surrounds of the burn's narrow twisting roads. Hedging tunnelled his view, hypnotising his thoughts. The squeaking wipers afforded little assistance to his opaque vision, and all the time the car stuttered and spluttered until finally giving up the ghost. Freewheeling the last couple of yards to the laneway, he pulled in. As he had feared, the spark plugs had succumbed to the incessant downpour. They needed drying out before going any further. He released the plugs and, seeing the flicker of light up the lane, sought help. The half door of the cottage opened enough to reveal the face of a middle-aged woman, illuminated by the tilly lamp she held close. What ails you, sir, on such a bad night? Showing her the offending engine parts, he asked. Look, could I dry these off at your fire, and then I'll be on my way? She opened the lower door and welcomed him into the dwelling dominated by a firehouse housing a turf glow. The Banatee's daughter, Martha, was curled up on the settee, a book in her lap, the silent child's entertainment. Placing the visitor's spark plugs for the fire, he was invited to take off his wet coat and shoes, and then accepted their hospitality of tea and homemade bread. It was It tasted like his own mother's batch. Chatting away, he told the host of the funeral and the long drive back home. I'm sorry for your loss now. 'Tis a great pity things weren't resolved before she died. Safer to stay the night till that storm blows over, she insists, preparing him a makeshift bed near the fire. Martha continued reading silently until her mother said, "'Tis time for our bed now. He away. Things will have changed in the morning." "Good night," he replied as they ascended the stairs. Dawn was breaking the cold, wet grip of night when he rose from the floor bed. The fire had done its job and he slipped out the door without a sound, the dry engine plugs pocketed. On the third attempt, the old car kicked into life. Wiping morning frost off the windscreen, he considered returning to extend his thanks, but the car seemed to move off regardless. Then, beside him, conscience appeared. You should have went back and thanked them. It would be the decent thing to do. Treated me like family, they did. His guilty thoughts prevailed. A mile further on, a cyclist appeared. So stopping the car, he lowered the window and he asked, "Are you from these parts, sir?" "I am indeed, boy and man. Can I help?" "Well, look, if you're going past the next dwelling, will you please call in? Tell them I was grateful of last night's stay. I'm rushing back home and there was no one up when I left." The local turned as grey as his breath in the cold morning air, his hand making a truncated blessing. The house up the lane," he bluttered. "Is you sure that dwelling was burnt years ago? The mother and the child perished." "What?" escaped from his dry throat, eyes widening as the man added, "I know, the last of them, the grandmother, buried yesterday." Strength ebbed from his limbs as he struggled to turn the car and race back. The burnt remains of the house stood where he had slept comfortably last night. In the breaking daylight, everything seemed destroyed. Confused and shaken, his eyes settled on the remains of the scorched book, and brushing damp ash off its cover, he read the name of his grandmother with a dedication. "To my granddaughter, Martha, with love," still clearly visible. Thank you.